We all need to take steps to reduce close human contact. That's how the virus is spread. This is the calm before the storm, before the surge. And when it comes, and it will come, never will so many ask so much of so few.
So what exactly are you doing right now?
At the moment I'm putting the folds in for the mask, the finished mask. It allows the mask to expand and shape over the nose and the chin.
Can you just hold that up so the camera can see
So
what exactly you're talking about?
This here is the back or front. You can see it has been pinned and folded. Same on the other side. And then I put the protective layer in it, which is waterproof. That goes in. Now you can see ones here that have already been stitched. And see the pleating in them.
Yeah.
Now they're stitched on the inside, and then I turn them out to the right side out. These ones here are turned right side out, and the elastics there to allow them to fit over the ear.
What are these masks for?
These masks are personal protective equipment to try and protect the nursing staff and care workers in retirement homes against COVID-19.
Thank you very much. I'm Deirdre. It's nice to meet you. Have the folds in them. Now, this side, the lighter side, the less dense side, is the side that goes to your face. Because this one here has the waterproof filter in it.
Excellent.
Now it's plastic one side, but it's terry toweling the other side. Now the terry toweling is facing you here, so the plastic is this side. So just
That's brilliant.
all right. So the
Thank you very, very much.
Side.
I really appreciate it.
Now,
Thank you for helping
Thank
us
you
out.
here about helping out with these.
Watching the news one evening, and an article came on it about a group of ladies who belonged to a craft co-op in Donegal, and they were making masks, but not these particular ones. And then I was in touch with another lady who was making them, and she explained that they really needed to have the protective layer. That's this layer here, to try and make them as protective as possible, really. Now, some people are making them up like this, and they don't use this. They put in folded kitchen towel. So I'm putting this in. It makes them more expensive to make up, but they're more comfortable, and you don't have to worry about then padding coming out of the mask itself. It's all stitched in place.
Okay. So what do you think about the frontline workers at the moment?
I think they're not getting enough support from anybody now, particularly those in nursing homes. I'm making these for nursing homes. I had sent a few to Moore Abbey, which a unit in Monastrevin in Kildare that looks after people with mental disabilities.
Okay.
From there then I was asked to do some for a similar unit in Sligo that I was made aware of. I've sent up a packet up to them, and now I'm doing them for a nursing home in Stradbally in County Laois. I'd like to be doing my bit.
Yeah.
I don't have a nursing background or a healthcare background or anything like that, so whatever a person can do to help out, they should be doing.
Well, this seems like more than enough, to be honest.
It's very time consuming, and it's quite disruptive of family life here at the moment, but they work around me.
Well, it's a very important thing to be doing, so you should be very proud.
I feel good about it. Especially when the nurses come back and say that they're delighted with them, that they've eased their life a little bit, or even for their patients. They like the fact that they're fabric, they're 100% cotton, so it's not going to injure their face. A lot of the pictures we see coming back from hospitals, The nurses are all marked here from the metal that's in them, but these are 100% cotton against their faces. And the protective layer, which is plastic on the back, is 100% cotton on the front.
Okay.
So that goes in this way with the cotton to their face.
Yeah. So you mentioned there, obviously, doctors and nurses and cleaners, everyone that works in hospitals and stuff they're getting bruises and cuts on their faces from these masks.
Yes, because a lot of them are synthetic materials.
Yeah.
But these are washable. The reason I'm doing them in cotton is because they're absorbent. They will be kind to their skin, but they're 100% washable.
And has this been helping you with isolation, or?
I live out in the country, so it's pretty isolated anyhow.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't see a lot of people during the day here, other than cars passing. We don't have neighbours. That's a derelict house down there. We don't have any immediate neighbours, but it helps pass the time.
And is it something you enjoy doing?
I love sewing.
Yeah.
I've always loved sewing, so I don't mind what exactly I'm making, so long as I'm making something.
Okay.
Since the start of this COVID-19 quarantine, everyone's been living by pretty strict guidelines. I unfortunately have Addison's. This means that I am immunocompromised and that my guidelines have been far stricter than everyone else's. I have not left my home, barring one occasion, in over a month and a half. So for example, while everyone has been able to walk about 2 kilometers away from their home, I haven't been any further than being able to see the next house. Luckily I live in the countryside, so that's not just going next door, but still I've been walking back and forth to my house. While I've been staying at home for my own well-being, that doesn't mean that I'm feeling 100%. Addison's is a stress-induced illness, so that means being confined so strictly means that it's acting up. The symptoms can seem pretty mild because it's mostly just feeling lethargic and having a lack of appetite. However, it's kind of different than being just tired. When my Addison's is acting up, waking up can be a bit of a chore. It's not like I'm just tired and in an hour's time I'll feel fine. It's like I'm fighting my brain just to stay conscious. While I have been spending more time with my family, there have been times where I needed to be separate from them. At the start of this, my sister Leah had a cold. This meant that she had to be confined to her room and that I couldn't come into contact with her at all. It's not just that she might have had COVID-19 and that I would have been more susceptible. It's just I couldn't afford to have my immunity compromised. My sister Ailish has to go to work, and every time she comes home, I stay here in the living room while she has a shower, gets changed, and everything she's touched has been decontaminated, just on the off chance that she might be carrying the virus.
They say after 9/11, in New York everyone noticed how blue the skies were. This was due to a lot of flights being cancelled. There was less planes in the sky, less streaks left behind by them, and most importantly, less pollution. This type of effect can now be seen on a more global scale. Across the world, emissions of pollutants and greenhouse gases is at the lowest that it's been in years. The European Space Agency noted a decline in nitrous oxide emissions. These come from cars, power plants and factories. Maybe when all of this passes over, people will remember just how blue the sky got. Scaling back from the global, there's been a huge increase in seed purchases during this time. Many have used the fears of food shortages as a wake-up call for an increase in self-sufficiency.
I was raised in the countryside, so we always grew our own fruit and vegetables. But since the pandemic, we've had to think about what else can we do more. We need to be more self-sufficient. We need to be able to produce enough for the whole family. We've been growing strawberries, salad, peas, the smaller things, rhubarb, things that were easy to grow for a number of years in the garden. But since the lockdown, we've started to grow courgettes, potatoes, broccoli, cauliflower. We're even trying out some peppers and chili peppers, and we're thinking about putting in some gooseberries, maybe blackberries, raspberries, and anything that we think that we'll be able to put into the tunnel or out into the open.
Some silver lines there, like that's just traces of snails.
We also try to maintain a balanced ecosystem around the environment in which we live. We keep chickens, which keeps us in eggs, because for the family we do a lot of baking and fresh eggs are used every day. We also have a pond with fish. Now we don't eat the fish, but it's nice to have them there and to keep the pond healthy. We feed the birds locally, and we also we have a small nature photography hide where we feed and nurture the local wildlife. We've been going to the shops less and less and being more reliant on what we grow. We're not fully self-sufficient, but we are becoming more self-sufficient, which is important. When you buy from a supermarket, everything is wrapped and bagged in plastic. Luckily at home there's much less going to waste.
What's the trickiest part about growing crops?
In Ireland it has to be the climate. I mean, you really can't rely on a season where you'll have sunshine. You could have hailstones in the middle of summer. And the other thing then is pest control. I mean, it's really difficult to keep snails, slugs, greenfly and things away from the vegetables and try to be chemical free. Whereas you go in and you buy a bunch of lettuce in the supermarket, it could be washed in chlorine. It still tastes the same, but you know, you're taking chemicals that you don't want into your body.
It's a nice shot there through the arch.
What do you think is the easiest produce that just about anyone could grow if they wanted to?
I think most things could be grown in pots. Potatoes are really simple to grow. You don't need to have like a big garden of potatoes. 2 large pots with potatoes. Simple.
Have you found it difficult to buy and locate seeds during the lockdown?
Oh yeah, extremely difficult. Everybody's off work, they have gardens, and everybody has good intentions to sow stuff. With all the garden centres being closed, even the online services are way 5 and 6 weeks behind. Luckily we had some seeds from earlier in the year and some from last year, which will be fine. Once they didn't get damp, they should grow well this year. It's about 6 weeks waiting list to order any seeds online at the moment, and now, I mean, seeds should be well in, so it's too late.
How important do you think it is to be growing at least some of your fruit and veg?
Now more than ever in the pandemic, it is very important that we try to continue growing as much as we can in the garden. Make this effort, particularly when you think about climate change, that the more people can do in their own homes and gardens, in a little small tunnel, even in a flower box on the windowsill, if you just grow your own herbs. All this helps, so we don't have to mass produce these things in big quantities. So everybody does a little bit, it'll actually help the climate as well as feeding your family with fresh organic food that you know hasn't been sprayed with insecticide, etc.
That's good. That's good.
I don't. Now that'll be €65 an hour. That would help an hour. I don't want to hear it because I make the sound of my own voice.